Apparently, Genshin version 3.3 livestream brings some juicy lore, not only Scaramouche, but also other things, like Ilminsul 3, Dottore, Faruzan, and the 8th element. So, without any interruptions, let's talk about that. In Genshin version 3.3 update, we will get another account quest, which this time would focus on Scaramouche, and something tied to him, Tataratsuna incident. From the livestream, I want to point out several things. Number 1, the name for this 3.3 update. All sense clear, all existence void. It is pretty clear to say that this title really reflects what will happen to Scaramouche. He basically will reform himself to overcome his past. And to overcome his past, I believe we will these methods, or both, whether entering his domain of consciousness, aka his memories, or and using Cyber Ilminsul that we see on the livestream. And obviously Nahida will help us to use that Ilminsul tree. Number 3, in those memories, or you could say collective data, Scaramouche and us the Traveler will face his past and uncover what actually happened to him, especially during his creation with Raiden A, and while he was wandering in Tataratsuna, which involved the incident. It also explains why Dottore showed up during the livestream. Once again, this Dottore is not the real one. He is a part of Scaramouche's memory or collective data. I guess something happened during covering those memories or information about Tataratsuna incident. Because we need to remember if Dottore has already done something to Scaramouche in the past, aka sabotage him. I feel like there's some backdoor program that Dottore put inside Scaramouche, so it makes it hard to access that kind of info. Another thing is that this also shows us if Dottore was already active a long time ago, even before Scaramouche. It is probably one of his segments. Number 5. It looks like Dottore gets ordered by the Jester, aka Piero, to find Scaramouche as well as Tataratsuna, which also answers the reason why Scaramouche in patch 1.1 event, he gets order from Piero to investigate the Fallen Star. Basically, Dottore recruits Scaramouche to become one of Piero's chess piece. Number 6. I believe at the end of this Archon quest, we will see for the first time, in cutscene, someone gets the visions, and that person is Scaramouche. And lastly, about Scaramouche's appearance. Did you notice that some parts of his outfit reflect several things in the game? For example, his back circle symbol, actually similar to Venti summoning circle, his head motif, Raiden Shogun A skill, or even like the sundial for Thousand Wind Temple. Another thing is on his back neck. You can see a certain mark which we also can find on Raiden Shogun's back. It seems like a different symbol, or I could be wrong. So, we already talked about Scaramouche. How about the Ilminsul tree we see? Well, there are 3 things that I want to point out. Number 1, as you can see, at the top middle of the tree, there is a unique thing. I don't know what to call it, but it is pretty similar to several symbols in the game. First, the unknown god symbol. What I mean is the chain symbol on the cube. Pretty reminiscent, right? So, does it mean the unknown god has some connection to this type of tree? Secondly, this symbol also looks similar to the Homa symbol, which we already know that Homa symbol is almost everywhere in the game, starting from the weapon, character design, word structure, to even in-game mechanics. And thirdly, I know this is a far stretch, but I just found this picture from Honkai Impact 3rd, specifically from Elysian Realm. To be honest, that is pretty close similar look, right? I don't play Honkai Impact 3rd, so I do not know exactly the meaning of it. Number 2. This type of Ilminsul tree that we see on the livestream would be the tree that gives Scaramouche Anemo visions. I have my own reason for this, but it's a long explanation. But TLDR for you, since Ilminsul tree has connection to memories, then it has ability to recognize ambitions. Therefore, Ilminsul tree can grant vision to people. Number 3, lastly, the color they choose for the tree and the main theme of the update. It is blue. And you know what? That is pretty important color. If you notice, most part of the game are surrounded by these 2 colors, blue and red. The sky of Spiral Abyss is blue. The Cataclysm sky is red. The Unknown God color is red. The Volunteer is red. The domain entrance including Spiral Abyss before we open is red. Then after we open is blue. The teleport waypoint, statue of the 7, stretch on each Ilminsul tree branch on the surface, etc, etc. You get my point, right? So, what does it mean? Well, in the most traditional culture, the color blue has a heavy connection to purity, peace, and spirituality. And on the other hand, the color red has association to corruption, contamination, and temptation. By that means, this type of Ilminsul 3 and the main theme of the update really show us if this 3.3 update would focus on reaching a purity state and avoid temptation or corruption. Okay, I think enough for Ilminsul 3. Let's move on a second and talk about Faruzan, specifically about her aging and the incidents she had in the past. We know in the live stream that Faruzan gets trapped in a certain ruin and needs to solve the puzzle to get out, and it takes 100 years. Weirdly enough, in that ruin, Faruzan does not experience aging, or, in other words, it feels like Faruzan stopped aging. But for me, it is not the case. I believe this has something to do with the chaotic space. Do you still remember the chasm story in 2.7 update with Yelan, Ito, Xiao, and others? Yeah, that's what I mean. In that story quest, they all have different time experience. Some of them feel time goes so slowly and others don't. But this time, Faruzan went to the next level. The chaotic space that Faruzan entered, well, it's so chaotic that time goes too slow for her, and already 100 years have passed for the outside world. This kind of thing really reminds me about time dilation. The faster you go, the slower time you will pass. Last but not least, how about the Omni element? For you who don't know, in the live stream, in TCG sections, they introduce the 8th element to the death card system, and its name is Omni element. If we talk about lore, this Omni element most likely is the light element we always expected. Instead of using the word light, they use the word Omni, which is a good idea in my opinion, because the word Omni itself means of all things, in this context, of all elements. Uniquely enough, this Omni element with other elements in that card system is symbolized by the prism shape. That prism shape reminds me to several things like the shape of each elemental hypothesis, the prism that bend light to other scalar light, the prism in Faruzan idol animation, the prism shape for pyramid in desert region, the prism technology that desert used to projectile location, and lastly, this 3.2 event item, Setter Pheno Chris, which state its lovely colors are like the remnant light of the elements as they are scattered. So basically, we can say if this Omni element is the source of the 7 elements in a game, or if we combine all 7 elements, we can get an Omni element. One or two other things for the Omni element beside the prism shape is that it is also symbolized by Triquetra symbol and has some connection to the omnipresent statue in Inazuma. We already know if the Triquetra symbol is one of the most important and abundant symbols in the game, and the omnipresent statue symbolizes the higher deity in Teyvat. The Triquetra symbol and the omnipresent statue are also suspected to be the symbol for the Three-Moon Sister. And don't forget about Paimon. On her outfit, we can see an inverted Triquetra symbol. So based on that thing, we can feel if this Omni element really tied to not only Traveler, but also Paimon, Three-Moon Sister, and other things in the game. Yeah, I think that's all I can say, but you might still have some questions about why I believe the Ilminsul 3 is responsible for granting vision, right? Well, I guess you need to watch my video about Ilminsul 3 here. So, if you think this video entertaining and informative, then give like and comment as the support so I can make video more confidently. Thank you for watching, Hello Zan here, and see you next time, bye!